Front and center, we have the man of the hour or the day. We have Dave Story, the VP of Mobile and Strategic Growth, here with us in the hall. And welcome, Dave. Thank you so much for...
So glad to be here. It's an exciting day.
Absolutely. That was a fantastic, I got to see a bit of the keynote. For those who didn't get to see the keynote, can you tell us a little bit about Vizable, what it's all about?
Yeah, well, what we just did is, for our first time ever, we launched a brand new product here at TC. We've never done that before. Right, we were actually able to build the product, kind of sneak peek it, build up excitement, and then launch it just 15 minutes ago on the stage.
Cool.
So it's our fifth product launch ever.
Wow.
And what we're doing here is trying to reach even more people with our mission. That's the number one reason why we're doing Vizable. The number two reason really is to push the state of the art, to show what companies could do if they were able to innovate the way Tableau does. So Tableau really pushing the state of the art on touching your data.
Fantastic. And some folks maybe who are joining us right now haven't seen exactly what Vizable is. Can you give us a 30-second detail of what Vizable is all about?
Yeah, Vizable is a new iPad app for data analysis. And what it allows you to do is open a spreadsheet from Excel or a CSV file that you've downloaded from the web, or your Amazon data, or your Fitbit data, or your Apple Watch data.
Anything the tablet can get to.
Anything that's a table of data. I've downloaded my Amazon purchase data. It's right there on the Amazon Your Orders page. 2 links down is download order reports. So whether you're running a marathon or running a company, you can go get your data and answer questions about it, see and understand and explore your data right on your tablet.
Very cool.
The stunning thing for me was that we looked at the App Store, and just in the iTunes App Store alone, there are over 1.5 million apps.
Wow.
Yeah, and we went to Apple and we talked to the editors of the App Store.
Yep.
And we said, okay, here's the situation. Somebody has sent me a table of data, or I've downloaded it from a website or from one of my devices. How do I see and understand it? And I literally said, what would you do? People who work at the App Store, you should know. You edit this section of the App Store.
Right.
And they said, yeah, there really isn't a great app for that. Right?
Wow.
It's crazy. It's
this day and age, you would think.
It's 8 years into the iPhone. It's 5 years into the iPad. And there's no great app to let you see and understand your data if all you have is your tablet.
That is fantastic.
That's the situation that Vizable goes after.
Very cool. And so what kind of, when you guys started building this and forming around it, I mean, you've got, like you said, all the way from folks who want to track their progress in a run, all the way up to running a company. Are there certain kind of businesses you targeted as you were designing this, or what were some of your guiding principles as you were putting it together?
Yeah, I think really what we're going after is a situation.
Okay.
And that spans people from all walks of life. And the core situation is I have a tablet, data, and questions.
Yep.
How do I answer my questions? And the last thing you want to do is open up a spreadsheet app, which is really the only other alternative.
Absolutely.
So imagine going and getting these tables and figuring out how to make a chart with some menu and a wizard, and I have to know what I want, and it's all these gestures, and nobody wants to do that.
Absolutely.
And that's the exact same core situation that Tableau got started with 15 years ago. Right? At that time it was, I have a desktop computer, a table of data and questions.
Right.
How do I see and understand them? 15 years later, we're reinventing that, taking all the wisdom of Tableau and putting it into an iPad app that lets you see and understand your data. But the best part is, it's completely designed for touch. So we get the Chrome out of the way, everything is about your data, it's front and center, it's always answering a question. As soon as you say open it with Vizable, it gives you a useful view right away. And I've had people send me all sorts of data, and Vizable just chews it up. It's great.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And to make something, one of the great things I heard at the keynote was that you guys really try to make it easy without dumbing it down.
Yeah.
Right? And I did, even in your keynote, when you did the vertical split and the rows expanded out by the movies that each person had created. Could you describe some of the processes you went through? I would imagine that involved some pretty intense user testing and data point gathering and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, what we were going after was simple. And simple, if it's simplistic, is one thing. That's not what Tableau is about.
Right.
We're going for simple and powerful.
Yep.
That's really hard.
Absolutely.
So we spent months at the very beginning just crafting that first gesture of swiping a bar out of a bar graph and having everything else animate up. And so we went after it and said, what we want to do is actually have the app explain what it's doing. So if you're a power user and you just flick, it just goes super fast.
Right.
But if you're tentative, or if you're trying to explain to someone or to yourself what the app is doing, this is the first app that I know of that teaches you what it's doing as it goes. So you were referring to, like in a data set we had about movies, I had all the directors and all their box office summed up. And we wanted to split the directors by their movies. So we just pinched out to zoom on a director, and it split. So it took this bar and it split it out, and they fly and animate. Well, if you do that really quickly, it goes really fast. So a power user, it's super fast. But if you're explaining it, you can pinch out as slowly as you want, and you are literally pinching and controlling the keyframes of the animation.
Very cool.
And so we call those teaching gestures, because they teach you what the app is doing as you're going along. And that's one of the ways we hope to reach even more people with our mission to help them see and understand data.
Absolutely. So do you guys even have a user manual for Vizable, or is it pretty much here it is and you can figure it all out?
Well, when you launch the app, what it does is it starts playing you short videos, like a little snippet with 2 sentences underneath.
Very cool.
And of course, how do you get to the next video? You swipe.
Right.
So it's showing you just kind of the key gestures, and there's really about 4 or 5 key gestures. Once you know that you can actually touch everything, and you can swipe on it, you can pinch on it, you can tap and hold to rearrange columns, a bunch of stuff I didn't even get to show.
Right, right.
Once you know those core gestures, then you just want to explore. And what we tried to do also is make you feel safe with your data. So it also has infinite undo and redo. And it saves that with the file. So the next time you come back to that file, it actually remembers not only where you were, but all your undo and redo. So you can just hit undo. What did I just do? Oh yeah, that's how I got here. And redo. There's so much I didn't get to show in the keynote.
Very, very cool. So folks that do want to go further down the rabbit hole, if they want to learn more about Vizable, what would you say for next steps? Obviously download the app, start playing with it.
Yeah,
if you have sample data sets?
Download the app. When you go through the gestures, it's actually showing you the gestures on the movie data set. And then when you're done with the gestures, with the little quick intro snippets, you tap away and it drops you right into the movie's data set that I showed at the keynote.
Very cool.
That same data set. We also have the weather data set I showed, data about a restaurant. So think about somebody who's got a...
Foodies.
Well, or they're like running a restaurant and their infrastructure is an iPad, a Square card reader. You've been to this shop, right?
Absolutely.
You go in, they tap your purchases in, they swivel it around, you swipe your credit card, you sign with your finger. It always feels kind of weird signing your name like that.
And never correct.
Yeah, they swivel it back and boom, they've just done the data entry. At the end of the day, that business owner picks up their infrastructure off the swivel, takes it home, and at the end of the week, if they're a Square customer, Square Merchant Services, guess what they do?
Roll it all up.
They mail you a spreadsheet of your data.
Oh my gosh. Back to the Stone Age.
Here's the situation.
Right.
And I know a friend who runs a coffee shop. It's kind of like a pop-up coffee shop, and it's literally his infrastructure is a Wi-Fi router, his iPad, a Square card reader, and a swivel.
Yeah.
And he takes it home, and I said, how often do you look at your merchant report? You know, your purchase data. And he goes, yeah, I looked at it once. But I couldn't see and understand it.
Right.
And I feel really guilty, but I've never looked at it since.
Sure.
So that's another example of an individual who's got data and questions, but thought it was unapproachable.
Absolutely. That makes so much sense. And you said you could go on about the features, and you didn't get to include a lot of them. Yeah. What are like some of the top 3 or 4 features you'd like to let folks know about that you didn't have a chance to fit into the keynote?
Yeah, well, I think some of the things are, you know, it was hinted at, but the filtering that you do works across all the worlds. So if you filter out, let's say I filtered to keep only Peter Jackson and his movies, and then I switched to Time World, well, that filter still applies. So, and you can swipe in Time World between the dimensions, between the numbers, and if you have multiple timelines like that data set does, you can switch between the time sets just with a swipe. So what I would say the #1 thing to do is just start touching everything, see what happens, and then you can watch the snippets, and of course we have a full online vibrant community called Vizable World. And we really want people to contribute, ask questions, interact with the development team directly in Visible World.
Excellent, fantastic. Yeah. What is up next for Visible? Looks like you guys have taken the ball a lot of the way down the court, but I'm sure there's other things you want to roll into it.
Oh man, I mean, we work at Tableau, so we know like, somebody asked me, hey, what is it exactly that you can do in Tableau Desktop that you can't do with Visible?
Yep.
And I was like, how much time have you got? Right? I mean, we know so much that we could add. So the real question is, how do we bring it in such a way that we keep it simple and powerful, approachable so we reach more people, and we introduce them to the firm belief that we have that seeing and understanding your data is a human right. But no one has like really gone after their data, and a lot of people don't even realize how much data they are constantly generating because they don't think they can actually perceive it. Excellent. They can't do anything with it. So Visible answers the question, what would I do with my data if I had it? And then what I would say is the things that we're working on, and we've actually started working on our next release already. This team is like just going gangbusters, such a great team. We're going after like better, easier connections to your data. So more data sources. We really want to know what are the top data sources that people really want us to address.
Got it.
So we can make better connections for them. And then that core concept of a world that gives you just the right interface for asking the kinds of questions about categories, like what's my top seller at lunch on Wednesday?
Right.
Or who's the top director? By gross, by profit, by this, by several measures at the same time. So those worlds allow us to simplify while retaining power. There's room for more worlds.
Yeah.
So what other worlds should we be working on, right? Where we can allow people to ask incredible questions with incredible simplicity. And then there's other things we want to go deeper on sharing and collaboration.
Got it.
But we have a finite sized team, so we have like this much we want to do and like this much budget. So we're really looking forward to hearing back from customers about what they see as key needs, and we're listening actively on visibleworld.tableau.com.
Cool, fantastic.
Yeah.
Dave, thank you so much. We've only got a minute. Is there anything you want to squeeze in that time? Any other stuff you would like to say, sessions that might be happening here, folks can learn more about Visible? Or?
Oh yeah, for sure. So last night we snuck 2 Visible kiosks onto the show floor.
Oh, cool.
So kind of after everything was closed, we brought out the Visible kiosk. We've had the room closed since.
Nice. And it's over in the vendor?
Yeah, in the expo hall, so check that out. Right? The other thing is go to visible.tableau.com.
Okay.
So we've got more product videos that you can see like kind of for other people when you say, hey, this Visible thing is great, and they say, well, how do I find out more? Visible.tableau.com.
Fantastic.
And then from there you can get to our forums, our community, to more help if you need it. And really download it from the App Store. That's the #1 thing. Tell a friend, rate the app. It's brand new. Literally this morning at 5 a.m. we pushed a button and put it live. So please tell us what you think. The team is really, really eager to hear back from you. So thank you, and have fun.
Fantastic. Dave Story, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Yeah, no,
Take care,
great.
and thanks for putting on this event for us.
Thank you.
Take care.
Have fun.
Thank you, bye-bye.